Hey, what's going on, guys? I want to talk about Joe Biden and his new tax proposal. Uh, President Biden wants to tax wealthy people and investors, business owners, and corporations at a higher rate in order to pay for many of his anti-poverty programs. I'm going to break some of this down for you. I was reading about it in the Wall Street Journal, so we're going to cover this right now on the Black Financial Channel. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're going to get started right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. This is theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I am your friendly neighborhood finance professor. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, that's where you can follow me. Hey, T News and Debt Free Dad and the original man of the world and Ben Hoovid and JR Meadows. I want to say hi to everybody. So here we go. Let's jump in. Let's jump in. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. We're trying to grow the platform. So basically, I was reading the Wall Street Journal just now about Joe Biden's plans to tax rich people, to tax investors, to tax corporations, business owners, etc. Now, I'm going to ask you guys a question. Give me a yes or no. How many of you fit into one of these categories? How many of you, give me a yes or no. How many of you are investors? Yes or no. How many of you own a business? Give me a yes or no. How many of you have incorporated, set up an LLC, consider yourself to be a wealth builder? Give me a yes or no in the chat. All the wealth builders, raise your hand, throw your hands up. B&B1 means being about black wealth and doing what's right for your family. Okay, good. All right, I see you, the Family O Network and Sherwin LeBlanc. All right, great. Good. Well, here's the deal. Okay, so Biden's going to start taxing you. The Congress is going to start taxing you. Now, you might think that because I have critiques of Biden, which I think are righteous, legitimate critiques, you might think that I'm going to have a big problem with that. And I, and although I hate the fact that my friends might have to cough up a little bit more to the government, I'm actually okay with this, and I'm going to explain to you why I don't think it's such a terrible thing for Biden to tax investors in order to pay for some of the anti-poverty programs. Now, what I was reading in the Wall Street Journal is that Biden wants to do something that I've actually agreed with for a long time. I think this needed to be done. He wants to tax capital gains and investments in a manner that is similar to the way workers get taxed. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but one of the reasons I've always told you guys that you should be an investor, one of the many reasons besides wealth building, is the fact that America is a rigged country. It's so rigged in the sense that working is the hardest way in the world to get money. Working means that you're going to make less money. Working means that you're going to be tired as hell. Working means that they're going to tax you at a higher level than they tax people who don't work. So working is the hardest way in the world to get money. And unfortunately, because you are the slaves of America, they want you to be anyway. Most of y'all ain't slaves. A lot of free black folks on this platform. They want you to go do all the work and so that you can make rich people richer. That's how capitalism is built. I'm not a big fan of capitalism. I'm not a complete capitalist. I read some of the ideas of Karl Marx, who's, obviously he started Marxism, and some of his ideas are correct. One of the critiques that Marx had about capitalism is that he said capitalism causes you to get away from doing work that you really love and you're passionate about and doing stupid work just so you can make money for the capitalist. And you guys know that I believe in doing things that you're passionate about, but I also believe that if you are working, you should be getting some of those rewards, not other people. Now, rather than whining and complaining about it and saying, oh, white people ain't right and rich people are terrible, I don't say that. I just say, no, look, you can get on your app, buy you some stock, go start a business, put yourself in the position to have the right skills, get your kids having the right skills, because that's how you can use the rigging of America in your favor. But just because I want you to benefit from the fact that America's rigged, that doesn't mean I want America to stay rigged. Here's the problem that you have in this country. This is why America's failing. This is why your country is headed to hell in a handbasket, economically speaking. Anyway, rich people don't get taxed. Yeah, they just don't. Investors are not being taxed. Massive companies like Amazon have so many write-offs that they can write everything off and pay almost nothing. Multinational corporations can, if they don't like the tax rate in the country they're in, they can just move to another country, and pay almost nothing. It's an incredibly screwed up system. And here's the reason it's a problem. Well, because now that's why your government has deficits that are insane. Your government can't afford to fund itself because rich people don't want to pay their fair share. Now, this started under Ronald Reagan, where he gave you this stupid concept called trickle-down economics. Trickle-down economics, it makes a ridiculous assumption that somehow the richest capitalist in the room is going to be the most generous guy in the room. That capitalists, that their goal at the top of the food chain is to pass as much food as possible down to the workers. So if we give the capitalist plenty of food, he's going to pass that food down to the workers. Well, that's not how he got rich. He didn't get rich by giving his money away. He got rich by keeping his money. So trickle down economics did not fail. So here's what's going on. So Biden is pushing for this tax increase. He's not going to get most of it because it's really some of it's a game. Democrats and Republicans are all in bed with corporations. If you look up the incomes of most of these Democrats, most of them are heavy investors. Most of these Democrats in Congress are multimillionaires. Most of them are in the category of rich people. So they claim to be fighting rich people when they're actually rich people, which means that they're arguing to you and trying to dupe you by convincing you that they're fully committed to fighting against themselves, and they're also lying to you by telling you that they're fully committed to fighting against the people who are funding their campaigns. That's stupid. I don't know about y'all, but I don't get in the mirror and punch myself in the face 47 times. If I get mad, I want to fight the enemy. I do not fight myself because I am not the enemy. So that's what they're doing. They're saying the enemy is us, and we're going to fight ourselves because we're rich people, and rich people need to go down. That's not going to occur. The tax increases that Biden sent through are not going to materialize in the way that he's requested. However, they'll probably go up. And that is a good thing for the country because when rich people get taxed a little bit more, guess what happens when rich people get taxed a little bit more? They stay rich. It's not like a multimillionaire is going to suddenly be in poverty because his tax rate went from 22% to 28%. Right? It's not like paying an extra 2% in taxes is going to be the end of your wealth. It might mean that instead of getting a Mercedes, C class, big Benz, BMW, I don't know, whatever they, I don't even know the names of these stupid cars. The most expensive sedan in the car lot. Instead of getting the $100,000 car, you might have to get the $95,000 car. Well, if you are a person who cries because you could only get the $95,000 car instead of the $100,000 car, then I kind of feel sorry for you because you really are, as my friend D1, who I just talked to last night, is my homie, so he's on my brain today. I love that brother. He says in his song Against Us, which everybody should hear, is a song he did with Big Crit and Lupe Fiasco. And in this song called Against Us, he says, you got money in the bank, but you're morally bankrupt. Some of y'all D fans might have heard this song. It's one of the best songs ever made. I want you to go listen to it. So a lot of these people are morally bankrupt. They don't care if the country falls apart. All they care about is getting rich. And I'm not a fan of that. So I think that what Biden is trying to do in this particular case, I spent the whole afternoon talking about how Biden is duping you with criminal justice efforts that are never going to materialize, cleaning up a problem that he caused himself, distracting you with police shootings so that you don't ask for reparations. So I can critique Biden when he's wrong, but in this particular case, I think Biden and the Democrats are right. America's infrastructure is falling apart. America's poor people need better safety nets. We need daycare for children. And we can do all that by slightly increasing the taxes on the rich. So no matter how much they whine and cry, it shouldn't be listened to. The economy is not going to fall apart just because they start taxing rich people a little bit more. So I approve this message. I think it's a good move. I think that they're going to get some of it through because the Democrats have enough of a majority in Congress. And I wish they would actually stick with their liberal economic policies, which the country needs a little bit of, and get away from all this other stuff like teaching your child how to be gay at the age of 5. That's the stuff that I don't get on board with because I don't need my child to be told what her sexuality is. I'd rather have that solved by the family. So with that said, keep investing. Don't worry. One thing that's interesting right now, actually, before I move on, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, share button, subscribe button. And don't forget that this is an audio podcast too. So if you want to listen on audio, you can actually go to the drboycebreakdown.com, or you can go to Spotify and just look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown, and you can actually find it over there. And the other piece I want to mention to you guys is we're doing another Black movie night. We want to support Black filmmakers because we believe Black people should have our own Hollywood. We should have our own Black movie industry. And so part of the reason I'm getting a place in Atlanta is because so much of the talent's here, and we're recruiting talent in LA and Atlanta to make film projects once COVID is over. Well, the other thing we want to do is support Black filmmakers. So we have Black Movie Night sponsored by the Black Business School, which is totally 100% free. You ain't got to pay money. You just got to pay attention and come through. There's a movie called Steps. Steps is going to be shown this Thursday, the 29th, and it's directed. I don't have the brother's name. I need to go get his name so I can give it to you. I know Shaquille O'Neal's an executive producer, and some other great actors are in it. So feel free to join us for Black Movie Night. The URL's right there on the screen. So anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on this issue. I think that the challenge you have though in your society, here's what's really going to go down in my view. America's kind of dead financially. America's headed to hell in a handbasket. I mean, we're still the richest country in the world. We have our strengths. We have some of the best entrepreneurs on the planet, some of the best corporations around, and we just are just global attack dogs in terms of making money. The problem is that we focus too much on the short term. We are too what is called myopic. Myopic means that you focus on the short term and you're not thinking about the long term. You're thinking about yourself, but you're not thinking about your kids, your grandkids, and your great grandkids. So by the end of the century, America won't be the second strongest economic country in the world. It'll probably be third or fourth. Africa's on the move. Africa's on the rise because they have a young population and so much productivity that's yet to be unleashed there. China is just killing it because China knows how to practice powernomics. Europe is getting old and gray. Europe ain't gonna have much. Japan's kind of hustling down, and the browner countries, Africa, South America. I think that's good. That those are going to be the power bases in the next generation. So when I talk to my brother about my niece and what we're doing with her, we're having her learn Spanish and Chinese, and as well as English, so that way she can navigate to some of the biggest economies in the world and do business and live her best life. And also, we're investing for her every day in things like the $5 a day investing program, so that when she gets older, she'll be in a position to make moves and not be stuck in a spot because she doesn't have enough money. You see, capitalism breeds slavery. Capitalism, anybody who ever says capitalism creates slaves, they're actually telling the truth. There's a lot of slavery in capitalism. I mean, slavery isn't when you're on the plantation with Kunta Kinte, picking cotton. No, no, slavery is when you get up in the morning and you want to do something and you can't do what you want to do because somebody told you to do something different. That's slavery. And so slavery is very real. Capitalism, in its default state, if you don't know how to fight back, it will put you in slavery. So the best way to avoid slavery is to invest consistently for your kids, and that's what I keep telling you guys. So no matter what they do with the tax increase, right now stocks are cheaper. Even crypto's cheaper because everybody's overreacting to this tax increase. Everybody thinks it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the damn world. It just means they're going to change the tax rates a little bit, which is fine. It ebbs and flows. When the Republicans get back in, they're going to reduce the tax rates and your stocks are going to take off. So what am I doing right now? I'm buying. I'm buying like crazy. I'd love to buy. By default, I want to own assets because the more assets you own, the more of a capital base you have. The more of a capital base you have, the more, as Ice-T called it, caved out. The more caved out you are, meaning insulated, economically protected. Part of the reason that you felt like a slave for a big chunk of your life is because there was nobody who took the responsibility to economically insulate you by giving you a capital base. But you're not going to do that for your kids. Am I right or am I right? Tell me, I'm not going to leave my kids out here butt naked financially, where they're out here having to go slave for a white man in order to pay the bills. No, I want my kids to be in a position where they have enough money to make moves. When you have that word options, I swear to God, when I talk about stock options, I ain't just talking about options like on investing. I'm talking about options in life. Options is the sibling of freedom. The more options you have, the more freedom you have. And that's just what it is. So, by the way, if you want to take a look at the $5 a day investing plan, you can actually get a free copy of that book. It's a very short ebook I wrote. You can go to the allblackagenda.com. That's the URL right there on the screen. So, go to the allblackagenda.com, and the $5 a day investing plan is there. And it's really awesome in terms of explaining how you can build a capital base for your kids. And also text the word BOYCE to 31996 if you want to get text alerts when I go live periodically. So I'm out of here, guys. What do I expect for this week? I expect that as the world realizes that they overreacted to the announcements of tax increases, I expect equities to go up. But there are a lot of companies that have earnings announcements coming out this week, and those earnings announcements are going to create a lot of volatility because some of the companies are not going to make their numbers, and that's going to create some buying opportunities for some really powerful companies. So kind of keep an eye out because there's a lot happening this week in terms of major corporations announcing their earnings, and that's going to be a very big deal. If you want to come to class, feel free to join us in the blackstockmarketprogram.com. The first month is free. We have class every Tuesday, and every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, we get together and I break down what's going on. And also I show you what stocks I'm buying and also give you about 3 years worth of curricula and materials that you can use to learn about stock investing. So if you're afraid of stocks, don't be afraid. Don't be scared. I can show you everything you need to know because that's where my PhD is. You guys know that. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good day. Please hit the thumbs up button on your way out, and I'll check back in with you a little bit later. Love you. I'll see you soon. Be good. Peace.